Right now at 9, murder charges for a Seneca woman accused in a deadly shooting. And
with airlines canceling hundreds of flights nationwide, how are local travelers being affected? I'm Bronte Sorotsky with those details.
New COVID concerns as cases of the Omicron variant spike in the holidays are upon us. I'm Charles Watson in Atlanta. I'll have the details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A 62-year-old Seneca, Missouri woman is behind bars tonight accused of shooting and killing a man. The police say yesterday Suzette Anderson killed David Wesley Stotts and tried to stage the crime to look like self-defense. A probable cause statement says a witness told police that Anderson said the victim, Stotts, tried to attack her. The witness says Anderson then told him to stage the incident by putting a rock, a stick, and then a metal rod in the victim's hand. Anderson is charged with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Anything but Christmas-like outside right now. Nick Kelly joining us.
Well, I mean, if we were in Hawaii or maybe Florida, this might be more appropriate, Chris, but this has been an unusual Christmas Eve around here. Even though we kept things quiet throughout the day, despite cloud cover up top, look what the numbers tapped in at for today. We started at 58, warmer than our average high of 46, and we hit a high of 75. Breaking the old record of 73 set back in 1955. Throughout the evening, we have seen mostly cloudy skies continue to take hold, and as advertised, we are seeing just maybe a few sprinkles trying to pop up in a few spots as a quick cold front continues to work on through. It's not going to do really much for us through the overnight. Even the few showers that are trying to come on down, they're out of here before we hit midnight. So your Christmas morning starts around 56 in Joplin, 58 by 9 a.m. We stay mild for tomorrow, but a little bit cooler with highs near 64 and cloud cover eager to build back in. We'll take a look at the rest of the forecast here in a bit, Chris.
All right, Nick, thank you. Airlines have canceled hundreds of flights this Christmas Eve, causing stress for travelers across the country. Here in the 4 states, airports haven't been too affected, but their connecting flights have been. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with travelers at the Joplin Regional Airport about their experience.
Traveling for the holidays can be stressful enough. But when you add in over 500 flights being canceled in the U.S. on Christmas Eve, that stress can be boosted. Luckily, for those flying to the Joplin Regional Airport on Christmas Eve, they didn't have too much to worry about.
Yesterday night, we were kind of going over the news if our flights are being canceled, but yeah. So no new news, so we're good.
Melissa Adaramos flew from Chicago into Joplin on Friday to find she was not one of the hundreds having their flight canceled or delayed for the holiday season.
Well, for United, I think they're canceling 200 flights, so we were worried about it. But come in morning and there's no news or updates about our flight's cancellation, then we're all set.
The Joplin Regional Airport didn't report either of Friday's flights being canceled, although one traveler did experience mild delays.
So we flew out of O'Hare, and it was probably like an hour-and-a-half flight.
Brianna Cozanow flew into Joplin on Christmas Eve knowing she would face delays ahead of time.
We had an email probably 2 weeks or a week and a half earlier saying that it had been delayed an hour, but obviously that's a fair amount of time to give you.
Now, she has some advice for anyone trying to travel this holiday season.
I guess just try to be as friendly and supportive as you can for other people who, we're all traveling for the holidays, right? It's always crazy. But like I said, people on our flight were super respectful and we're totally fine. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Globally, airlines have canceled over 2,000 flights this Christmas Eve. An uptick in Omicron cases impacting Americans' holiday plans. As we prepare to gather with family and friends for the Christmas holiday, concerns over the coronavirus are forefront on many people's minds. Fox News correspondent Charles Watson has that story.
It couldn't come at a worse time. Hundreds of Christmas Eve flights in the U.S. canceled, along with the grounding of more than 3,000 global flights. Airlines like Delta and United experiencing significant staffing shortages, partly due to COVID cases among flight crews.
My heart goes out to the people who are working, they're serving us, so I hope they're okay.
This comes a day after the Food and Drug Administration gave emergency use authorization to Merck's pill, the new drug joining Pfizer's treatment, which was approved on Wednesday. Both will help fight against COVID-19 infections and hopefully alleviate some of the strain on America's hospitals. But you won't have the pills before Christmas. The government ordering hundreds of thousands of doses not available until next month.
Any message to share with Americans celebrating Christmas? Keep the faith.
Meanwhile, President Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden visiting the Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C., the first couple talking to the kids about what they're thankful for, then gathering around the Christmas tree as the First Lady read a Christmas story.
I got one question, Jill. How many of you want to be a doctor?
The visit comes after the White House reversed travel restrictions on 8 southern African countries put in place last month when the Omicron variant was first discovered in South Africa. The administration saying the Omicron variant is so rampant in the U.S., international travelers, quote, will not have a significant impact on cases here. That travel ban being lifted at 12:01 next Friday, New Year's Eve. In Atlanta, Charles Watson, Fox News.
Back to local news, the Our Place food truck hosted a Christmas Eve cookout in Joplin today. The goal was to make sure that people were fed heading into Christmas Day when many places are closed. From 11 to 3 today, people could come by for a free meal, and those wanting to support the mission were invited to pay it forward by dropping off a gift.
The last time I checked, the way you fix problems, really, before where we're at in society, we did it over food. I mean, we had conversations over food. We had the tough conversations over food, but food is where I believe we need to get back to and having a better relationship with that and with one another.
Organizers say they'd like to do this every day if possible. Food and retail workers are burned out after nearly 2 years of dealing with the pandemic. The United Food and Commercial Workers Union says more than 50,000 retail and grocery workers have been infected or exposed to coronavirus. At least 213 have died. And now there's the rising threat from the Omicron variant. The union sent a letter to 63 retail chains calling on them to step up their safety policies. They want companies to once again promote masks for customers and distribute personal protective equipment to workers. Union is also asking stores to reestablish social distancing measures and offer paid sick leave benefits. Some companies, including Walmart and Amazon, are requiring workers to wear masks again, but they haven't updated their customer policies. All these factors are contributing to the labor shortage in the service industry. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Pharmacist mate First Class Edwin Parker served in the Navy during World War II with the United States Navy Medical Corps. His hometown, Stella. We're proud to recognize Pharmacist mate First Class Edwin Parker, tonight's four-state hero. Well, Nick Kelly's going to be back with a complete look at that Christmas forecast and later another holiday during a pandemic. We'll look at how it's affected plans across the country this year.
Hopefully everyone has been having a good Christmas Eve because Mother Nature certainly is not making this a normal Christmas Eve for this 2021. We're still looking good with the live shot outside of Indigo Sky Casino Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri. But even though we had quiet skies and we had quite a bit of cloud cover coming across the area today, look at how much we soared temperature-wise compared to highs near 60 the other day. We held in the upper 50s for much of the morning, but a high of 75 degrees, not only in the grand scheme of the month of December, is that yet another day with temperatures well above normal, 19 days to be exact. That beats the old record of 73 set back in 1955. We're going to continue to stay mild for a few more days, but we do have up and down temperatures as we track a few systems as we go down the extended forecast. But looking outside from 7th and Rangeline, all is quiet on this Christmas Eve, but the wind is still up there. 71 degrees with the south wind at 26, gusting to almost to 40 miles per hour. It's no wonder many of us are still in the upper 60s to lower 70s, even at the 9 o'clock hour on this Christmas Eve night. Again, it is all due to a southwest wind sustained between 15 and 25 during the day, but we have tried to get that breeze to come down a little bit. But you can see how in Joplin it picked back up around 26 miles per hour in downtown. And we're not even talking about the gusts trying to push near 40 once again, but we are seeing under the cloud cover Some very light sprinkles popping up, mainly in parts of southeast Kansas. That is the worst that this incoming cold front is doing for our weather as we go deeper into the night and into Christmas morning. But it's that very front and this upper low coming out of Colorado that is giving, at least for a few of you, maybe a few quick showers or at least a few sprinkles, because that rain still has to overcome quite a bit of dry air near the surface. So for the vast majority of you, we're going to stay dry, and certainly everyone's going to be dry as we head toward the overnight, toward Christmas morning. But that won't be any problem for Santa when he comes around here anytime after 10 o'clock and no later than 1 or 2 a.m. So kids, be sure you get to bed. Otherwise, Santa can't make the rounds at your house. So keep that in mind. 56 for your Christmas morning to start things out, especially in downtown Joppa, but you saw how temperatures range between the 40s and the 50s during the morning hours, near 60 by noon tomorrow, and even with the northwest breeze behind our cold front, it'll still be a bit mild tomorrow for Christmas Day with highs near 64 in Joplin. Most of us in the lower to middle 60s for this Christmas Day lined up for us tomorrow. Down the road, though, we do have not only a quick upper level wave that'll give us some scattered showers on Sunday as this wave passes by, or quiet Monday, then another system by Tuesday and Wednesday. That's going to give us our next best shot for rain and thunderstorms for our final Tuesday of 2021 before we cool back down to more normal temperatures by the middle of the week. 64 for your Christmas Day, 70 on Sunday, upper 50s on Monday, 67 on Tuesday, then a quick dip into the mid 40s Wednesday and Thursday, Chris.
Nick, thank you. Coming up on the KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
While millions of Americans hit the road for the holidays, many are also opting for smaller celebrations because of rising COVID cases. I'm Mather Avera in Washington with more on the president's response as people mark their second COVID Christmas.
With COVID cases rising in several different areas of the country, it's not stopping many Americans from traveling during the holiday season. Now, the virus is still consuming most of the attention of the Biden administration. Recent polling finds that just 31% of Americans view 2021 as a good year for their family. Fox's Madeline Rivera explains more from Washington.
As millions of Americans hit the road for the holidays, many are also getting ready for smaller celebrations for the second year in a row.
Anything that's not outside of normal family plans, we're trying to kind of scale back a little bit.
We're staying at home. We've gone out and done a few things, but we always have masks on.
It's a slight sense of deja vu with a new wave of COVID cases. The surge driven mainly by the Omicron variant. A little more than a year ago, the president campaigned on getting the virus under control.
I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country. I'm going to shut down the virus.
Now, there is no national lockdown, but long lines once again snaked around COVID testing sites this week, with people struggling to get tested. The president not calling the shortage a failure, instead doubling down on a new strategy that includes providing Americans 500 million at-home COVID tests for free next month by signing up online and increasing federal government support for hospitals. He's urging people not to panic.
We're prepared today for what's coming. In March of 2020, we were not ready.
But fatigue is weighing in.
It seems like we're always playing catch up. We need to be able to have the therapeutics, have the medicines, have the tests, and have better accessibility to vaccines and boosters moving forward.
As people remain divided about the president's response.
I don't think the right arm knows what the left arm's doing when it comes to public health.
The federal government has also ordered enough of Pfizer's antiviral pill to treat 10 million people. 250,000 of those will be available next month. In Washington, Mather Avera, Fox News.
Just ahead, the President and First Lady brought some holiday cheer to children in a D.C. hospital. The President and First Lady put the pandemic and politics aside on this Christmas Eve day, bringing some holiday cheer to children at a Washington hospital. Natalie Brand has more.
Oh, that is really cool. That's a great idea.
The first couple joined the young patients at Children's National Hospital admiring their holiday crafts, including the work of a boy named Bo.
We have a son named Bo. We have a grandson named Bo.
The Washington Hospital offers pediatric acute care, and those who couldn't join in person participated on Zoom.
Hi, everybody. Great to see you. Merry Christmas.
The President and First Lady read a Christmas story.
was the night before Christmas.
And chatted with the children about their dreams for the future.
How many of you want to be a doctor?
Gloria does.
How many of you want to be a nurse?
From the hospital, a surprise stop on the way home. The first couple posing for pictures by a Christmas tree where the president shared his holiday message for Americans.
Keep the faith.
Back at the White House, a quick chat with Santa's trackers.
So far, Santa's really moving, man. That sleigh taking over 75,000 gumdrops. That's how heavy it is.
The Biden family will spend Christmas at the White House, along with their newest bundle of joy, first puppy Commander, who showed off his ball handling skills on the South Lawn. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
Up next, how an ill-timed pause cost a woman a Wheel of Fortune victory. So Nick Kelly's a big Wheel of Fortune fan, and this clip may irritate him a bit. The holiday spirit sees all around. And we've been bringing you stories that will help, make the season bright, including a tip on how to follow Santa tonight. That's actually easier than checking your doorbell camera, and I lied, but that's all right. This is all in today's Take a Look at This.
Charlene Rubish was just moments away from solving the final puzzle on Wheel of Fortune, but apparently she took a few too many moments.
Choosing the right word.
Even though she solved the puzzle, she didn't do it fast enough. A technicality that cost her a brand new Audi Q3. Wow. After viewers took to the virtual streets of Twitter in protest, the German luxury car maker announced she was a winner in their eyes and would be gifting her the SUV anyway. Holiday spirit, thy name is Audi. The emotional ups and downs Charlene has been through seem fitting for the week of Christmas. Also getting in the spirit, the residents of the Berlin Zoo. Zookeepers put together a festive feast for the animals that included platters of playful cookies for pandas, trees filled with crunchy treats for the capybaras, and stuffed stockings for spoiled squirrel monkeys. Does anyone else have the song, I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas, stuck in their head now? Just me? Okay. Anyway, and lastly, when you put out your milk and cookies for Santa tonight, don't forget to keep an eye on his whereabouts. The North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, is once again letting you track the man with the bag in real time as he makes his way around the world delivering presents to all the good little boys and girls. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! You know what? I'll just stick to my day job. For Take a Look at This, I'm Daryl Forges.
We've had a little too much eggnog tonight. We told what was in there was in there. So anyway, 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports heading your way. Up next, feeding four-staters. Hundreds show up to Watered Gardens in Joplin for a bit of food and fellowship. Welcome back. Watered Gardens Ministries today made sure homeless folks in our area were treated to a meal and some much-needed fellowship. The organization hosted a Christmas Eve dinner. About 200 people showed up to eat. They were also treated with goodie bags.
It's an opportunity really to sit at the table. It's kind of like come to the table and let's just have a meal together and be together this Christmas Eve. And certainly just recognizing that for a lot of folks that we're serving, they don't have family that they can go spend Christmas with, and so this is really our way of having a family Christmas with the folks that we're serving.
Now there were around 40 volunteers to help with those 200 folks coming in for today's dinner. The Joplin Empire Market today was the destination for some last-minute shopping at its holiday market. They call it the Tinsel and Tidings Christmas Eve Market. There were 20 or so vendors that were on hand with their wares for the wary shoppers looking to fill some stockings before Christmas morning. And of course, there's lots of food and music too.
It's been wonderful to meet all of the vendors here. Everyone's really supportive and really excited for each other. Everyone's real respectful of what you have, and so it's just really neat to be around other makers and creatives that just have amazing, unique ideas and things that they can do.
And to help out, gift wrapping was also available. To the northeast of there, the Webb City Farmers Market was hosting its own Christmas Eve market. Now, like the Empire Market, there were around 20 vendors on hand. We caught up with one of them who tells us what it means to be a part of the market and last-minute shopping for four-staters.
That's why we're here, is as much for the community as it is for ourselves. We've had a great season at the market, and so this last chance to be able to give back to the community, to be here for them, is just so exciting.
This market featured music too, because a holiday shopping experience wouldn't be complete without holiday tunes. If you haven't already bought your gifts for Christmas, well, you should probably do it if you can find a store that's open, because you really don't have any more time. There are lots of options that are available out there still to create the illusion that you planned ahead, but there's one possibility that you should pass on. Marina Silva reports.
While getting a pet for someone for Christmas may be a really great Christmas present, animal shelters are warning people that it may not be the greatest of ideas.
While getting a pet can seem like a great idea for a present,
I don't think there's a bad time to get a pet.
Dogwood Animal Shelter in Osage Beach is warning people that doing so may not be the greatest of ideas. Ellen Keene is the executive director and the shelter manager. She says it's important for an animal to bond with its owner.
I think animals and people bond. And I think when you come to get a pet for another individual, sometimes you're the one that bonds with them. You're choosing that animal because you have felt some connection.
A better idea? Getting a gift certificate.
I think what is better is to get a gift certificate for the adoption fee and present that and say, you know, we've chosen to take you to look for a pet.
If you're getting a pet to bring into your own family, bring the kids.
Maybe the child is fearful of a particular animal. So that's not a win-win situation. So we encourage parents to bring their children.
Having a pet isn't just a short responsibility, it's a lifetime commitment.
Animals usually live to be, whether it's a cat or a dog, between 15 and 20 years. So, excuse me, when you know you're going to adopt an animal, you need to, the best you can, plan on having that animal for that length of time.
Pets can be a financial responsibility too, getting a pet for someone else who may not be able to financially take care of a pet.
You have to be able to provide food, shelter, medication. There's always, even if you don't have a sick animal, there's medication that you need to give them so that they don't get sick. Flea medication, especially here in Missouri. Worm medication.
If you do end up getting a pet, it's important to remember the responsibility that having a pet can be. I have Dasher here. He is one of the reindeer puppies, so all of his siblings are named after Santa's reindeers. Reporting in Osage Beach, I'm Marina.
That was Marina Silva reporting. A bit later, holiday foods and candies are great, but if you want to avoid having a belly that looks like mine, which is full of jelly, we have 5 tips for you.
Hopefully everyone has been having a good Christmas Eve, because Mother Nature certainly is not making this a normal Christmas Eve for this 2021. We're still looking good with the live shot outside of Indigo Sky Casino Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri. But even though we had quiet skies and we had quite a bit of cloud cover coming across the area today, look at how much we soared temperature-wise compared to highs near 60 the other day. We held in the upper 50s for much of the morning, but a high of 75 degrees, not only in the grand scheme of the month of December, is that yet another day with temperatures well above normal, 19 days to be exact. That beats the old record of 73 set back in 1955. We're going to continue to stay mild for a few more days, but we do have up and down temperatures as we track a few systems as we go down the extended forecast. But looking outside from 7th and Range Line, all is quiet on this Christmas Eve, but the wind is still up there. 71 degrees with the south wind at 26, gusting to almost to 40 miles per hour. It's no wonder many of us are still in the upper 60s to lower 70s, even at the 9 o'clock hour on this Christmas Eve night. Again, it is all due to the southwest wind sustained between 15 and 25 during the day, but we have tried to get that breeze to come down a little bit. But you can see how in Joplin it picked back up around 26 miles per hour in downtown. And we're not even talking about the gusts trying to push near 40 once again, but we are seeing under the cloud cover some very light sprinkles popping up, mainly in parts of southeast Kansas. That is the worst that this incoming cold front is doing for our weather as we go deeper into the night and into Christmas morning. But it's that very front and this upper low coming out of Colorado that is giving, at least for a few of you, maybe a few quick showers or at least a few sprinkles, because that rain still has to overcome quite a bit of dry air near the surface. So for the vast majority of you, we're going to stay dry, and certainly everyone's going to be dry as we head toward the overnight, toward Christmas morning. But that won't be any problem for Santa when he comes around here anytime after 10 o'clock and no later than 1 or 2 a.m. So kids, be sure you get to bed. Otherwise, Santa can't make the rounds at your house. So keep that in mind. 56 for your Christmas morning to start things out, especially in downtown Joplin, but you saw how temperatures range between the 40s and the 50s during the morning hours, near 60 by noon tomorrow, and even with the northwest breeze behind our cold front, it'll still be a bit mild tomorrow for Christmas Day, with highs near 64 in Joplin, most of us in the lower to middle 60s for this Christmas Day lined up for us tomorrow. Down the road, though, we do have not only a quick upper level wave that will give us some scattered showers on Sunday as this wave passes by, or quiet Monday, then another system by Tuesday and Wednesday. That's going to give us our next best shot for rain and thunderstorms for our final Tuesday of 2021 before we cool back down to more normal temperatures by the middle of the week. 64 for your Christmas Day, 70 on Sunday, upper 50s on Monday, 67 on Tuesday, then a quick dip into the mid-40s Wednesday and Thursday, Chris.
Nick, thank you. Coming up in sports, the Chiefs aim for their 8th straight win this Sunday. We're going to hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. Plus, former Joplin standout Zach Westmoreland reflects on his first college football season.
Joplin alum Zach Westmoreland finished up his first college football season at Eastern Michigan. He's a former standout wide receiver for Joplin, a 3-time All-State performer. Westmoreland originally signed to NEO, but never played a game due to COVID. He then made the jump to Division I Eastern Michigan and played his first season this past fall. In 12 games for the Eagles, he finished with 293 receiving yards. His best game came against UMass in September. In that one, he racked up 97 yards and his first college touchdown. Westmoreland continues to aim big.
For my first season being back and after taking so many days off, I feel like it was pretty decent. I'm definitely excited to get back and get to work and just start making more progress and hopefully putting up even better numbers and getting more wins than before. Obviously getting all my lifts up, getting my speed up, ball skills, releases, everything in general. I'd really like to go back to another bowl game. I'd like to win a MAC championship. I'd like to win a bowl game. I'd like to be all conference, and a lot of high goals.
The Kansas City Chiefs haven't lost a game since October. The Chiefs are winners of 7 straight, including an overtime win against their division opponent, the Chargers, last Thursday. This week, the Chiefs are on a good bit of rest, hosting the Steelers. As always, now we'll hear from the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, on this week's Minute with Mitch.
Well, on this Minute with Mitch, I was going to talk about the physical, emotional, and mental toughness shown by the 2021 Kansas City Chiefs, especially last Thursday night in LA, and the 50-year toughness shown by the Pittsburgh Steelers, this week's opponent. But forget all that. Not with the events of the past several days and as many as 30% of the Chiefs roster showing up on the COVID list for testing positive. Now, with the new NFL protocols, depending on if a player is symptomatic or not, vaccinated or not, many of those players could return soon. But it was week 1 of the Minute with Mitch in 2020 that I said the first foe of the season would be the coronavirus. I didn't think that pandemic foe would give its strongest challenge to the Chiefs 16 months later on this Minute with Mitch. The Minute with Mitch is brought to you by Como Jewelry. Every day's game day, Como Jewelry, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Against the Steelers kicks off at 3:25 on Sunday. Kansas City is 8.5-point favorites. Back with more news after this.
A life-altering accident that almost cost a Missouri man his life. But this week, he had the opportunity to thank the team at a Kansas City hospital that saved him. Alan Shope was there.
He was on his way home from work.
On November 2nd of 2020, father of 3 Marcus Smith was in a motorcycle accident.
5:02 is when the accident actually happened.
The driver of a dump truck failed to yield and hit Marcus, trapping him under the truck for nearly an hour.
My legs were pinned under there.
The accident put Marcus in University Health for 99 days, through 20 surgeries, and cost him both his legs.
I don't really quit. I never have quit.
A lot of hard work, a lot of communication, a lot of talking through a lot. That's incredible!
This week, Marcus and Kelsey were back at University Health, showing off his new legs and talking to the doctors and nurses that helped him get walking again.
Marcus is just a perfect example of somebody who remained optimistic.
I think that is what success looks like.
Marcus spends a lot of his time now coaching his son's 5th grade football team. He says it's his family and love for competition that's helped him get through this.
I think that's what drives me every day, is the fact that I could have died, but I didn't.
His wife says something like this teaches you.
Don't sweat the small stuff. That's too short. Way too short. Didn't want to cry.
Now Marcus is able to work again. He says someday he'd like to start a nonprofit that helps people cope with amputations. Carnival Cruises says a small number of people on board one of its ships have tested positive for COVID-19. Those who contracted the virus on the Carnival Freedom are in isolation. Carnival says the ship is docking at Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic Friday after being denied entry into Bonaire and Aruba. Cruise Line says it's working with local health authorities at the destinations they visit. All guests were tested before the ship departed Miami on December 18th. It is expected to return December 26th. 13 million people in China are unable to leave their homes after a COVID outbreak. The city of Xi'an is now designated a controlled area, China's second highest category of lockdown, meaning residents are banned from leaving their homes except for urgent cases like medical emergencies. Each household is only allowed to send one designated person out of the house to buy groceries every 2 days. This all started on Tuesday when 52 new COVID-19 cases were recorded in the city. Since then, mass testing is taking place in various areas across the country. The sweeping restrictions come as the country braces for the Lunar New Year travel rush, followed by the 2022 Winter Olympics, due to begin in the capital, Beijing, on February the 4th. Healthcare workers with COVID-19 no longer need to isolate for 10 days. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control has updated its quarantine guidance for healthcare workers ahead of an anticipated increase in Omicron cases. CDC now says healthcare workers who are fully vaccinated, including a booster, do not need to quarantine after high-risk exposures. Also, healthcare workers with COVID-19 who are asymptomatic can return to work after 7 days with a negative test. That isolation time can be cut even further if there are staffing shortages. The agency hopes new guidelines will limit the effects of healthcare staffing shortages that have been caused by COVID-19. Well, now, a story I'm not too fond of. The holiday season here is in full swing, and that means temptations are everywhere in the form of some really good food and drinks, making it easy to definitely pack on these pounds this winter. In today's Health Minute, Jen Sullivan has 5 things that you, me, and a lot of us can do to avoid the dreaded weight gain.
Sugary treats, boozy drinks, and all those calorie-dense dishes. Holiday meals make it easy to pack on extra pounds this time of year.
To avoid the vicious cycle of weight gain during the holidays, I encourage you to focus on things that you can add in to your diet and to your lifestyle rather than things that you need to take out.
Health and fitness expert Stephanie Mansour says these 5 tips can help you stay trim without missing out on the festive fun. Number 1, power up with protein. That way you won't be starving at the dinner table and will be less likely to reach for sugary and carb-loaded items.
Even a little bit of Greek yogurt or a couple hard-boiled eggs, a protein shake, anything that you can have with protein to power up before you sit down for your holiday meal is going to help you avoid overeating.
Number 2, stay hydrated. She recommends drinking half of your body weight in ounces of water. That way you don't confuse thirst for hunger. Number 3, unwind with hot tea.
When something's warm to sip on, you really have to slow things down and enjoy them and be conscious of what you're consuming rather than throwing back one last cocktail.
Number 4, manage the alcohol. Have 1 glass of water before and after every drink. And finally, don't deprive yourself. Don't avoid sugary treats completely. Instead, eat them in moderation.
Always have at least 1 or 2 tastes of your favorites and then move on.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Excellent tip. Still ahead, he was once the most popular quarterback in Missouri. Then Patrick Mahomes came along, but now Zachary Levi tried to shine a light on the greatness that was Kurt Warner in the film American Underdog. We'll have more just ahead. Zachary Levi goes from playing a superhero in Shazam to now playing a real-life hero in the new film American Underdog.
I feel alive. Zachary Levi laces up his football cleats to play NFL legend Kurt Warner in American Underdog. The biopic chronicles the former pro athlete's unexpected rise to fame, going from an undrafted rookie to a grocery clerk to becoming a 2-time NFL MVP and Super Bowl champion.
Well, this is gonna be fun. The entire story was there. Plus, all of this other stuff that I was very unaware of. All of the real life, struggle and the relationship and between Kurt and Brenda and Kurt and the kids. It just put it all into such a deeper and more grounded context that it made it all the more powerful.
I know why I'm here.
I'm excited for people to watch it and to hear what part of our story connects with them.
Warner was able to make it to the top of his game due to the love between him and his wife Brenda and their strong belief in each other.
That champion was born in this incredible love story, and that no one wins alone, which became the tagline of the film, and that these two people and their love for each other allowed them to endure and allowed them to keep believing and never ever give up on each other and on each other's dreams is such an amazing thing.
That whole process was absolutely beautiful to watch. It really, that's what we're about. Don't give up on it.
Anna Paquin, who portrays Brenda, says their love story is a great reminder of the importance of having a strong support system.
If you really have each other's backs and you really are willing to do whatever it takes for them, and that's a two-way street with them, that you can achieve amazing things.
Made it ready for this moment. American Underdog opens in theaters Christmas Day. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
Just adding another one to the great list of movies we need to check out. And that is our time for now. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to leave you with video of Christmas lights at Twin Bridges. We'll see you back here tomorrow night. Thanks for making us part of your night.